Hi everyone and welcome back to our Horse Ranch mini-series. I know that it's been a second, but we are back now and we are starting in a bit of a different setting. And that is because these two kind of decided to go on a mini honeymoon. It's not really a honeymoon. They'll just be here for like one afternoon, so I just sent them to a little beach in Tortosa. I feel like it's kind of nice, kind of romantic. After all, they did just get married, so I felt like it made sense to send them off somewhere, but they have a full-on ranch to run, so they couldn't really just leave everything for like a week and go somewhere, so they'll just be spending one afternoon here and they'll be going back in the evening. But Antonia was insisting that they go somewhere and try to have a little bit of fun, and this place seemed pretty perfect. Although these two have a lot to talk about because Antonia did catch Jesse's interaction with her brother at the end of their wedding, so Antonia knows something is up but doesn't know the entire story, what was happening with Dean. She just knows that Jesse is hiding something but not really sure what, and she'll be trying to find that out today, which I don't think that Jesse is going to be too happy about because they're just trying to have a bit of fun, and Antonia is bringing up that topic quite often, but Jesse's doing kind of everything to avoid it. They're just feeling very flirty. They want to enjoy the honeymoon. They're just trying to tell Antonia, like, look, don't worry about that right now. We're just here. We're trying to have a bit of fun. It's not anything that's like super serious, so just drop it. Although Antonia's not very convinced and she doesn't want this thing to ruin their afternoon here, and she's trying to trust Jesse that it's really not that serious, although it did seem serious. So instead of all those talks, I just sent them to swim in the water, but Antonia's just waiting here in the middle to talk to Jesse, and Jesse's just swimming around her in a big circle. That is so ridiculous. They're really trying to avoid having some kind of big conversation. Like, look at that. That is just stupid. Are you finally swimming over? That was so silly. Oh, they're doing a little kiss in the water. That is so cute. Oh, Antonia, did you have enough? Do you want to grab something to eat? We can do that. Oh, we could maybe even grab like a sample of the cake that they had at their wedding. We can get a little slice of the rainbow cake. I think that Jesse's really trying to make things super romantic, to not just have it be like a great time, but also to have Antonia kind of forget about things. You can even feed her the cake. They can feed each other. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. But now that they had a bit of cake, they can finally sit down, although Jesse's really trying not to, trying literally anything to distract Antonia, and it's kind of working. But you can just have a little seat and just sit here and chat together, although you're being like really cute. But I think that you finally need to have a bit of a talk about things. Jesse does seem a little bit bothered with that, but no, I think that you kind of need to talk because Antonia obviously wants some deep thoughts, deep topics, so I'm definitely gonna agree to that. Oh, and they have a close family dynamic, sure, although I feel really bad for Antonia still. But alright, they're finally sitting down and trying to talk. Antonia is asking, insisting, okay, what was that thing that you and your brother talked about during the wedding? And Jesse's still kind of like, oh, it was kind of nothing. They're feeling quite uncomfortable about the topic. Instead, they're talking about, well, we're married now, and you know what married people do? They have children. How do you feel about that? Do you want to have babies? Which is just so crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and Antonia doesn't even want kids at the moment. Jesse does seem a little bit upset with that because Jesse actually would like to have children, and they really thought that bringing up this really serious big topic would maybe distract Antonia, but it's not really helping. Instead, Antonia just wants to talk and find out what was that topic that her brother and her talked about, but it's just not happening. Jesse's kind of set on the baby thing, which Antonia is not too happy with. She did say that she doesn't want kids at the moment. She comes from a really big family. Remember, her mother has like 5 children. She knows how big of a responsibility that is, especially because she's the oldest child. But still, Jesse is kind of thinking, well, look how beautiful this sunset is. Wouldn't it be amazing if we came back here with our child next time? So they're thinking, I'm gonna surprise Antonia. Surely if I just go with it and tell her that we are having a baby, she's gonna be super excited, which is absolutely the worst thing ever to do. But remember, Jesse is very impulsive. and is not very smart with decision making. And right now they're also really trying to distract Antonia from the other thing that they're hiding. So I think that Jessie would just go for this and just go and have a science baby with Antonia's like some kind of sample that they have for future that they stored just in case they ever decided to do this. But she's going to be using it up without Antonia's consent right now to surprise her. So let's have Jessie go and do this. While Antonia is just being totally clueless at the beach, still trying to have a bit of fun, thinking that Jessie maybe just went to grab something to eat, doesn't even know where Jessie is currently, but Jessie's going to be coming back with a huge surprise. So are you sure that you want to add a newborn to your household? Are you really sure that you want to do this right now? And Jessie's going to say, yeah, this is kind of what we need. Although, of course, they would just go for pregnancy so they can experience all of that together. So Jessie's thinking that that experience would draw Antonia in and that she will be on board then. So let's go for a pregnancy. Oh, Jessie's back, feeling quite sick already, but I don't think that Antonia would necessarily notice. I mean, you wouldn't really think that your partner is pregnant just because they're feeling sick. They are in a new place after all. Maybe Jessie's feeling bad because of like the food or the weather or something. But again, try to bring up this weird thing that you notice at the wedding and just try to convince Jessie to tell you. And Jessie's at this point honestly just thinking, well, okay, I'm not gonna share the big news right now, I'm gonna do that in a second, but I mean, I am pregnant now, we're gonna have a child. I'm sure that Antonia's gonna be super happy once she realizes, and once she's just totally fully on board, it's gonna be okay. So I can just tell her what happened. We have this child together coming, there's nothing that can break that bond right now, so I'm totally good, right? So Jessie is finally telling Antonia that maybe like a month ago or something, they actually married someone else. And Antonia is obviously just freaking out. It's not really a surprise. Jessie's really trying to explain super hard what was going on, what was the context of that marriage and what happened. And it doesn't really matter because the guy died anyway. So like there's nothing to worry about. It's not like I have a husband just somewhere out there. But of course Antonia doesn't want to hear it. That's just a ridiculous situation. Why didn't Jessie say anything to Antonia? They could have gotten married. It would have been way too soon for them to get married. But if Jessie was that desperate for the money, they could have easily done it. They were together, they loved each other. They got married like a month later anyway, because Antonia thought that they might have been ready. Now it is all just so horrible. And why didn't Jessie say anything before they got married, before they got engaged? It's not like Jessie didn't know. Jessie knew absolutely everything, but Jessie just thought that it wasn't such a huge deal. But the longer they were hiding it, the longer it was obviously becoming a huge deal. If Jessie just told Antonia all of their problems, things would have been completely okay. But right now, it is just unfixable, and Antonia does not want anything to do with any of this, despite how much Jessie's begging and pleading and trying to prove that it's not a big deal. Antonia is over it. Antonia does not want this anymore. It just became way too much how irresponsible and foolish Jessie is, and how much they're actually hiding stuff from Antonia all the time, and they still don't see what they're doing wrong. So because of this, Antonia is finally just gonna do it. They will just separate and it's gonna be permanent. And Antonia wouldn't necessarily call Jessie a cheater because it wasn't a marriage out of love, obviously, but all of this was just a huge mistake. They're obviously not that compatible. Jessie's hiding too many things from her. They can't build a healthy, normal relationship like this. It's just been way too much for way too long. Antonia just wants this to end. She wants a normal life. If she can't get that with Jessie, she's not going to be pushing it. She just wants to go. It's crazy that Jessie let all of this happen, that they got engaged, they got married, they will also have a child together. Don't forget that. Jessie still hasn't mentioned that. Antonia just wants out. This was a huge mistake. Just end this. So Antonia is putting an end to their romantic relationship. It's over. It's something that Jessie hasn't really been expecting it, especially now, but she hasn't even had a chance to mention that to Antonia yet. But they will right now because Antonia needs to know this. And Antonia is absolutely devastated. She didn't want this child. But Jesse, you have to tell Antonia that you absolutely will have this child. There is no way that you do something about it right now. You want this child anyway. The fact that Antonia is not interested, well, you knew that already. It's another one of your mess ups. But Antonia is just, they despise each other. It's really just that bad. It feels like everything just flipped upside down in a matter of a couple of minutes. Antonia just can't wrap her mind around what happened, and she's also going to be telling Jesse that she is not going to be living with her anymore. She's not going to be asking Jesse to move out of the ranch. If anything, I need to do that other way around. And Antonia is going to be leaving the ranch. She's going to be leaving Jesse. All of it. She's not interested in any of that. It was their money together, but it was Jesse's dreams, not Antonia's. So they can just stay there, and Antonia will go back to live with her parents. So I'm just going to send you back. I'm not going to take any of the money or anything because they have plenty. Antonia is officially leaving. It all happened so quickly, but let's be real, all of us knew this would happen eventually. And I know that things are moving super quickly, but I'm trying to wrap up this series before the new expansion pack comes out, so I know that things are super fast, but this all was meant to happen. They are where they're meant to be, unfortunately. And all of a sudden, Jessie is alone, pregnant, and divorced on their honeymoon. I don't think that they really want to be here anymore, and it's time to go home anyway. But coming home to an empty house just feels so crazy. It honestly feels so crazy. They literally just got married yesterday. Here's their marriage certificate, their cake topper. Now all that is gone. Antonia's side of the bed is still here in case she ever decides to come back. But after what happened, I kind of doubt it. It's all just very awkward. They're still spouses but currently divorcing, although they are close. It's such a messy situation because they both really love each other, but everything that Jesse did just tore the relationship apart so much. They have this festering grudge, personal rift, resent about the divorce, but they still have a deep connection. It's all just so bad, and I don't know what Antonia will do about the entire baby situation. She was clear that she did not want a child right now, yet Jessie still went with what they wanted. I haven't considered Antonia's opinion at all. So is Antonia even going to accept this child? I'm sure that Jessie's wondering the same thing, but they're feeling just so awful and they are pregnant, so they have to be really taking good care of themselves. So I'm gonna let them do that. It is 2 a.m. already and they still have this entire ranch to run, so we can't really be moping around and stuff. But maybe after you finish your meal, you could at least send Antonia a couple of messages, try to see how she's doing. Did she go home? Is she at Hazel's? Or maybe try to call her. I'm sure that she's not gonna be picking up, not just because it's the middle of the night, but I'm sure that Antonia does not want to hear anything from Jessie right now. She probably needs some space, but Jessie's again not considering that either. But it is already the next morning, so I have to wake you up. I'm really sorry. I know that you're not feeling that great. They've got morning sickness. They're also feeling a little bit feverish, so things are going to be even more difficult than they should be. But I need you to take care of the animals before we do anything else. Oh, Bullseye is literally everything that Jessie has right now. That's like all the support that they can get. I mean, they haven't talked to other people, that's why. No one really knows what happened quite yet. I mean, surely Antonia's family know because she's literally living with them now, but no one on Jessie's side knows. So Jessie's not getting any support, which is kind of making me really sad. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is kind of expected, but really big. Their father just died. I don't think that Jessie would be sad at all. If anything, they really hated their father, so maybe this is something that will cheer them up. Yeah, I was totally right there, just happy about the loss in the family. You're just scared that you're outside, you're outdoorsy and you're loving it. But I think that would be kind of fair to, at the very least, maybe text Carson because he's probably quite devastated. Oh, when you have your doctor's appointment, I downloaded a new mod that does like all of the health things, but I think I'm just gonna send you alone because you have a lot to deal with, but they are feeling a little bit sick, so I guess I'll just send you? Oh, while they are at the doctor, Justin is calling to come hang out. Oh, that's kind of awkward, but maybe he wants to offer Jesse some support, so I'm definitely gonna say yes. Or is maybe Antonia sending him to make sure that Jesse is alright, but Antonia obviously doesn't want to come over herself? That kind of makes sense. Go talk to Justin, and we also just received bills. Luckily we can afford them, but we'll also need to spend a lot of money on this upcoming baby. But they're telling Justin about the news. I'm sure that Justin knows. Oh, and Anthony's calling as well. The motive trials while Jesse's pregnant. Yeah, no thanks. But it looks like Antonia's side of the family is trying to offer some support, which is kind of unexpected. I mean, all of them like Jesse. It's just, you know, their relationship didn't work out. That doesn't mean that Antonia's family would hate them. So I'm kind of glad that people are coming over to offer some support. Maybe they also heard that Jesse's father died. We know that Jesse doesn't really care much for that, but this entire divorce situation really just kind of came out of the blue, at least from Jesse's point of view. They were sure that Antonia wouldn't divorce them at all, especially now that they'll be having a child together, but you have to remember that Antonia does not want this child at all, so that is definitely something that wasn't the part of Jesse's equation there. But I wonder if Justin is going to be sticking around today to maybe help out a little bit. That would be really helpful, especially because Antonia is not feeling that great. So could we maybe ask you to help out around the ranch, because we kind of really need that. And while you're at it, you definitely need to be texting Antonia regularly. Try to chat a little bit and make sure that you get in some kind of contact together. I really wonder if Antonia is going to be texting back at all, at least to hear some updates about the pregnancy. Although Antonia doesn't want the child, she's not heartless. She would at least attempt to communicate with Jesse about that, because it is their child. It is Antonia's DNA in the mix as well. So whether she likes it or not, she is involved. We'll see how much she'll actually want to be involved in the parenting itself, but she does acknowledge that the child is hers too. Oh, Justin's leaving, but Carson actually just came over, so it's kind of good that Jesse's not really alone in this entire situation. And honestly, Carson probably needs some support as well. Oh, you could share the big news. Oh yeah, you have actually a lot to share, because Carson doesn't know about the divorce, doesn't know about the pregnancy, doesn't know absolutely anything. If anything, he's gonna say to Jesse that he actually has a surprise for them. And that surprise is gonna be a second horse. That is Carson's wedding gift, and a bit of an apology for pushing Jesse so much to reveal the truth to Antonia. Carson is thinking, well, you're an adult, you can figure things out for yourself. I'm really sorry for pushing you. It wasn't really my right to do that. So this horse is kind of like an apology, because he knows that Jesse would definitely love that, and Jesse absolutely wanted a second horse for the longest time now, but maybe not right now. That's kind of the problem, because Carson doesn't know what happened. So let's share the big news with Carson, but also maybe reveal that Antonia is not on board anymore, and that you two actually got a divorce. He seems kind of shocked, a little bit happy about the baby, but not so happy about other things. But Carson's definitely wondering, so do you want to maybe give me the horse back if it's too much for you? But no, Jesse wouldn't do that. Jesse, of course, wants to keep that horse, and Jesse's trying to reassure Carson that things will be okay. They've got support, they have him, they're getting like a lot, well, not really a lot, but they're getting closer, and things seem to be good between these two at the very least. But Carson, if you want to offer some help, maybe we can plan a bit of a stay over. So you stay over just for one night, just so he feels also a little bit better because of their father, and Jesse has some company. So I feel like inviting Carson over just for this one night would kind of makes sense. And I guess that he was ready. He just had his things with him, which is so funny. So you just get comfortable in the house and you get familiar with your new horse. So her name is Blondie and she is going to be your new best friend. I hope that Bullseye likes her. Can we do some like encouraging for them to actually get together? And oh no, he's just asleep. But these two just became friends, so that's progressing really nicely. But speaking of progressing, how is your pregnancy? I don't know, it doesn't say. I think think that it kind of glitched out, so I have no idea how far along they are. They're feeling super confident, so they think that their child will really love them and things will be great. I mean, the kid will grow up on a ranch with these beautiful animals. Things will be great. Maybe the child just needs a second parent. So how about we try to talk to Antonia a little bit more, maybe try to invite her over, convince her that she should come back, because how could you abandon all of this? It's just beautiful, isn't it? I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should send you to the doctor so you can see stuff about your pregnancy. I mean, I feel like Jessie doesn't really know much about all of this stuff. They really rushed this decision like so badly, and they probably don't know anything about being pregnant. So I'm not gonna decide on a birth option quite yet because they have no idea. So maybe it would be good to just go for a checkup and maybe hope that Antonia will want to be there. Let me see if I can even take her from this menu. Probably not. Oh, I can, but I don't know if she's gonna be showing up. Oh wow, this is really unexpected. Antonia is actually here, but she doesn't really want to talk to Jessie. I guess that she wants to be involved kind of with the baby stuff, but doesn't really want to be involved with Jessie, if that makes sense. Okay, that's fair. At least she's here. Oh no, you know what? I think that Antonia actually did leave when the exam started, because I can just invite her back. I think that things just got a little bit too real for her when she saw Jessie pregnant, so she just couldn't be here, which is really fair. And it looks like you're expecting one healthy baby. Luckily it's just one. I wasn't thinking about that. Jessie seems quite excited though. And oh, it's gonna be a baby boy. Well, that's just so nice. It's just a shame the circumstances that it's happening on, but I'm glad that Jessie's kind of pushing through it. I mean, it is their fault that all of this is happening, so I can't really feel sorry for them. But anyway, I guess that the exam ended, and I think that we have a little picture of the ultrasound, so we can go home now. Go home to 2 horses, lots of animals, and no wife. But still, try to text Antonia a lot, try to call her, tell her how the exam went, because she got cold feet and left, so you should tell her that you two are actually having a boy. Maybe you can also text her the ultrasound picture. But with all of that, I think I'm just gonna stop here with Jessie playing some tunes, probably some country tunes for the baby, so it gets used to all of the ranch stuff. I'm gonna end here, and we'll see how Jessie's pregnancy and Antonia's involvement with the pregnancy and the baby goes in the next episode. Let me know what you thought about everything happening. I know that we are moving quick, but as I said, I'm trying to do that. I wanted to wrap up the story, so we'll see what happens in the next episode, which I think is going to be the finale, so be sure to tune into that right here. And if the next episode is not out yet, here is something to watch while we wait. See you there.